We would like to welcome you to the top 6 most famous people that lived in Denver, Colorado. Our first guest, who lives deep in the mountains, Trey Parker, who will be number 6 on the countdown. Randolph Severn Trey Parker III was born on October 19, 1969, in a small town called Conifer, Colorado. Trey Parker is an American actor, animator, writer, producer, and composer, best known for creating the South Park cartoon in 1997. Consider Trey's upbringing. He was an honor student, prom king, worked at Pizza Hut, and idolized Monty Python and the Holy Grail. In 6th grade, Parker participated in a school talent show and wrote his first play, called The Dentist. His friend played the patient. This was a bloody scene, and his parents were contacted about it. From there, he became so interested in filmmaking that his father gave him his first camcorder, which he used until he graduated. Parker attended Berkeley College after graduating in 1988 before transferring back to the University of Boulder in Colorado. This is where he meets Matt Stone, who will be with him for the rest of his career. Parker and Stone collaborated on animated short films such as Jesus vs. Santa and The Spirit of Christmas. After that, they started talking about South Park. They wanted Fox to air it, but they refused due to the Pooh character named Mr. Hanky. The short was liked by Comedy Central executive Doug Herzog, who turned it into a series. Parker and Stone's animation took place in Denver Celluloid Studios in 1996. South Park's original plot was animated using traditional cut-paper stop-motion animation techniques. The town of South Park originated in Colorado, in the Old Basin, where there are many folklore stories of UFO sightings or even Bigfoot sightings and cattle mutilations. South Park sold $30 million in T-shirts before the first episode aired on television. In 1997, it was the most popular television show. After finishing their first season in February 1998, Comedy Central had sold over $150 million in merchandise and gained over 3 million new subscribers by the end of 1998. They then collaborated on the South Park film, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, which was released in 1999 by Paramount Pictures and grossed $83 million at the box office. They have also appeared in films such as Basketball and are working on a prequel to Dumb and Dumber. Their franchise was so successful that they produced music and video games, and Comedy Central released albums of Chef's Aid and Mr. Hanky Christmas classics, Chocolate Salty Balls. The South Park creators gave up all rights and sold everything in 2003, splitting their net worth of $75 million. Universal Pictures announced that Trey Parker is the voice of the evil villain Balthazar Bratt in Despicable Me 3. This will be Parker's first voice role that he did not write. This takes us to our next famous person on the list, Roseanne Barr, who comes in at number 5 on the countdown. Roseanne Cherry Barr was born on November 3, 1952, in Salt Lake City, Utah. She is a comedian, writer, producer, host, American actress, and filmmaker who has even run for president. Barr's family was Jewish on both sides, and her last name was originally Borisovsky, but her grandpa changed it before immigrating to the United States. Roseanne was diagnosed with Bell's palsy on the left side of her face when she was 3 years old, but she later found that she could grow out of it. Roseanne said that she is on the autism spectrum and that she was in a horrific automobile accident when she was 16 years old, resulting in severe brain damage. Her behavior was so terrible that she was committed to the Utah State Mental Hospital for 18 months. Barr traveled to Colorado when she turned 18 in 1970, informing her mother she was going to meet a friend and never returned. She had a daughter named Brandy Brown, a year later, and gave her up for adoption, only to be reunited with her 17 years later. When Roseanne was living in Denver, she performed stand-up comedy at the Denver Comedy Works, where she gained appearance before moving on to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. In 1986, she appeared on The Late Night with David Letterman show and the Rodney Dangerfield special. A year later, she had her own HBO show, The Roseanne Barr Show. In 1988, she was named the funniest female performer on television by the American Comedy Award. Roseanne was offered the role of Peggy Bundy in the program Married with Children, but she turned it down. Later, ABC gave Barr her own show, which became known as Roseanne. In 1989, she published Roseanne, My Life as a Woman, an autobiography. Barr later went on SNL, Saturday Night Live 3 times between 1991 and 1994, and in 1992 she appeared with her husband Tom Arnold. About the same time she released her second book, My Lives. Roseanne played the Wicked Witch of the West from the film The Wizard of Oz at Madison Square Garden. The Roseanne Show was a 2-year hosted talk show presented by her that was canceled in 2000. She did stand-up television guest appearances, and hosted a radio show with KCAA in Los Angeles from 2005 to 2010. In the 2012 presidential election, Roseanne ran for president and was on the ballot in California, Colorado, and Florida. Barr finished in 6th, receiving 67,326 votes nationwide, leaving Barack Obama president. When it comes to being roasted, Roseanne is a true iron comedian, which takes us to our next visitor, number 4 on the countdown, Don Cheadle. Donald Frank Cheadle Jr. was born on November 29, 1964, and was an American actor who appeared in a number of films between 1985 and 2021. He grew up traveling from city to city, changing schools from Lincoln, Nebraska, to East High School in Denver, Colorado. Don appeared in the film Hamburger Hill, in which he played the gangster, Rocket. When Cheadle starred in Devil in the Blue Dress, Rebound, The Legend of Earl, the Goat, his career took off. In the 1980s, there was Manigault, Rush Hour 2, Volcano, Rosewood, Boogie Nights, Out of Sight, and the Ocean's Trilogy. He was nominated for an Academy Award for his performance as the manager in Hotel Rwanda in 2005, and he also co-produced Crashed. From 2002 through 2006, Cheadle worked on NFL commercials for the Super Bowl, which encouraged fans to contribute their ideas. In 2007, he co-wrote Reign Over Me with big-name comedian Adam Sandler, which grossed over $22 million at the box office. He appeared in Iron Man 2 as James in 2010 and Iron Man 3 as Terrence Howard in 2013. Cheadle starred in other Marvel Comics films such as War Machine, in which he played James Rhodes. Cheadle continued to appear in Marvel Comics films through 2022. Avengers. Age of Ultron was released in 2015, Captain America. Civil War was released in 2016, Avengers. Infinity War was released in 2018, and Avengers Endgame was released in 2019. From 2021 through 2023, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be released. If you follow the Marvel comic movies, Cheadle has a new role in Armor Wars, which is part of Phase 4. Armor Wars is one of 7 issues in the Iron Man story, with the original title, Stark Wars, in the comic book. The most of these comic books have been adapted into films. If you're a fan of Iron Man, you've probably noticed the headlines announcing future films with titles like, Time for the Avengers to Start Avenging, and The Armor War Begins in Iron Man. Speaking of armor, our next visitor will have various sorts of armor to protect themselves from evil guys. Dog the Bounty Hunter will be number 3 on the countdown. Dwayne Lee Chapman was born on February 2, 1953, in Denver, Colorado. His nickname is Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he has a crew that includes Beth and the kids. The Chapmans have 12 children and 6 wives. 2 of them are from their first marriage, Dwayne Lee Chapman II, and Leland Blaine Chapman. He had 3 more children from his second marriage, Zebediah Chapman, Wesley Chapman, and James Robert Chapman. Chapman ran away from home at the age of 15 and joined the Devil's Disciples, a motorcycle gang. He was sentenced to 5 years in a Texas state jail for first-degree murder. The dog served 18 months in the Huntsville prison system before being released in January 1979. He was 24 years old. Someone tried to escape while he was in prison, and the dog tackled him before the guard fired and killed him. The same guard advised him to become a bounty hunter from then on, as the dog desired to track down people who had skipped bail. When he had his first big task and got famous when he kidnapped Max Factor, real name Andrew Luster, from Mexico, A&E offered him his own television show, Dog the Bounty Hunter, which was canceled in 2012. In Mexico, bounty hunting is prohibited. It is also unlawful to hunt in Mexico. From the 1990s to the 2000s, Luster was wanted for raping and killing a number of women. As a result of the team capturing Max, they get pulled over. All 3 were arrested and put to jail on suspicion of narcotics use. As a result, Beth contacted the media and appealed to public opinion in the United States to assist in the campaign to free all 3 of them. The Chapmans went through this for another 4 years until the court dismissed all criminal proceedings against Dwayne Chapman in August 2007 due to the statute of limitations having expired. He has appeared on a variety of talk shows and television shows, including George Lopez, Chris Angel's Weird Mind 1-hour special, My Name is Earl, and a Canadian television show called Corner Gas, among others. Beth and Dog owned and operated Dakeen bail bonds on the Big Island of Hawaii. Bobby Brown teamed up with Dog and became the go-to person in Denver when you needed a bond. Dog the Bounty Hunter, Dog and Beth, On the Hunt, Dogs Most Wanted, and Dog Unleashed were all TV shows the dog did. In September of 2021, he was summoned by Brian Laundrie, the Manhunter, to assist in the investigation of Gabby Petito's murderer. Chapman is also a writer. His first book, You Can Run But You Can't Hide, was a New York Times bestseller, and he followed it up with Where Mercy is Showed, Mercy is Given. Beth became ill in 2017 and was diagnosed with stage 2 throat cancer. She died on June 26, 2019 after being placed in a medically induced coma. In 2021, the dog remarried to Fancy Fran, whom he met 6 months after Beth's death. Fran is also a widower who lost her spouse in 2018. Millions of people appear to love the dog, and despite his background, he has aided the community. Speaking of being loved by millions, this brings us to number 2 on the countdown. She is seen on TV doing soap operas and an American singer. Molly Kathleen Burnett was born in the suburbs of Littleton, Colorado on April 23, 1988. She had one brother and was an actress, producer, and singer. Molly graduated from Littleton High School. While attending, she played in numerous school plays. She then made her way to New York, where she graduated from Wagner College, a liberal arts school on Staten Island. Molly put that on hold to pursue her acting career in Los Angeles. This is where she stayed and started her role as Melanie Jones from Day of Our Lives in 2012. Molly played many roles in 18 different TV shows, and movies, and music that everyone watches or recognizes. CSI New York, General Hospital, Queen of the South, and Grey's Anatomy. Molly starred in 6 movies. She won 3 Daytime Emmy Awards in her career for Younger Actress, and Best Supporting Actress in Digital Daytime Drama Series. 1 million viewers is incredible. Our next guest, Tim the Toolman Taylor, will have many more viewers than Molly and will be number 1 on the countdown. His name is Timothy Allen Dick. He was born on June 13, 1953, was raised in Denver, Colorado. 1975 is when Allen did his first stand-up comedy at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oak. This is the suburbs of Detroit. Allen did television commercials and cable comedy shows, one of them called Some Semblance of Sanity. Allen gave up names in exchange for a lesser sentence. The judge gave him 3 to 7 years, he did 2 of them, and paroled from Sandstone, Minnesota Federal Correctional, in 1981. After Allen got released from prison, he got hired at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. He once told a magazine he can only play a part if he can draw on personal experience. Allen's career takes off when ABC asked him to play the main role on the home improvement TV show, Tim the Toolman Taylor. Tim played in 24 different TV roles, and 41 movies, and 4 games in his career. Allen wrote 2 books and earned 15 awards and nominations from 1992 to 2017, and received a Motion Picture Star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2004. We're delighted you made it to the conclusion of the video. We appreciate your support of this channel. If you haven't yet subscribed or liked, please do so now. Denver 303 will return with more videos about the Denver's top 6.